Where's Steve? Where's Steve? Where is Steve? Steve!
All right, so last week we did goofy football names that involve drinking. And this week we're just going to do goofy recent football names. So if you put together a football team just using silly named guys, this is what I've come up with. This all started because of Stevie Brown, my personal favorite football name right now for obvious reasons.
And they may not be playing anymore, but they were either drafted or
recently cut on development teams, but they are real names of current or recent players. So we're going to start on the defensive side, and I would start with Ziggy Hood, defensive end in Jacksonville.
There's good old Ego Ferguson, defensive tackle at Chicago.
My personal favorite name would be,
I do love this name.
Would be Frosty Rucker, D-end Arizona. And I love the idea of the Cardinals playing the Vikings and Frosty tackling Rudolph.
That would be something to see. That's a holiday show you're not going to see. How about Kitchen Ismaili?
Who was, I guess...
nose tackle for Cleveland.
There you go. Mr. Alexander was a cut linebacker. Sorry about that, mister.
Whitney Merciless.
One of the things I love about the name Merciless is if he married other players' kids, or if his kid married other players' kids. So if Whitney Merciless married Tom Savage's kid, it would be a Merciless Savage wedding.
Ouch.
Or if he married Nathan Slaughter's kid, it would be a Merciless Slaughter wedding. So I love the name.
Our favorite name also is Barcavius Mingo.
And one thing you need when you're looking at a football team is you need a lot of princes. So I'm going with Prince Shembo, linebacker from Atlanta.
And of course there's Prince Amakamura, who is with the Giants, although he's not playing well.
D-backs tend to have great names, and Champ Bailey and his brother Boss Bailey, who's no longer in the NFL, are two of my favorites.
My favorite is Bailey's Irish Cream. But anyway, we always liked Major Wright.
And if you have a major, you have to have Captain Munnerlyn from the Vikings.
There's some guy named Stevie Brown.
Oh, there is. If you're going to have a punter, punters are actually pretty hard. They're pretty normal named guys, but Chase Tenpenny.
Chase Tenpenny. Sounds like he owns the team, doesn't it, Lovey?
Is a pretty good one to me. Now we're going to move over to the offensive side of the ball.
You got quarterback Christian Ponder, which is almost like a guy sitting there just thinking who's in a church.
He's a theologian who can throw a football.
Thank you for the word that I couldn't come up with on such short notice.
You want a tackle? Dakota Dozier. There's a tackle. He'll clear it out for you.
The first name I've ever seen with an apostrophe is DeBrickashaw Ferguson. I mean, who does that?
Joe Looney. You have to be a little crazy to play line in the NFL.
I can't even pronounce this, so I'm going to give it a shot. Rocavius Watkins, who was cut by Kansas City earlier this year. Rocavius.
Speaking of a name that's inappropriate for the NFL, Guy Whimper, who was cut by Pittsburgh.
Someone probably drafted him and went, oh.
You cannot whimper in Pittsburgh.
No. Not if you're going to play a guy named Bear Pasco.
You would think wide receivers would have wackier names than they do, but Shontavius Jones was one of the few that I could come up with.
And then there's Andrew Peacock, who was a developmental player.
Yeah, both were developmental players. Running backs, you can line them up, but I like Dry Archer as opposed to a Wet Archer in a storm.
True. The Muppets had Fozzie Whitaker on their team for a season.
And speaking of storms, there was Storm Johnson.
And this was my pitch, since we're getting to this guy. I had a pitch that I sent to ESPN for a commercial for Ryan Suckup. All he had to do was somebody was around the ESPN table, and guy looks at his coffee mug, says, "I'm out of coffee." This guy comes running in, fills it up immediately, and the rest of the guys at the table just go,
"Suck up." Anyway, wacky NFL names by Electric Football. Hope you had a little fun with it. We had a little fun doing it.
See you again.
Bye-bye. Here comes the hand.
Barcavius.
That one didn't go well either.